Okay, so this is another one. Keyword arguments is what I was just showing you. I have another function here called test function, and it takes 3 arguments. A, B, and C are the parameter names. You can see A is required. I have to give A. If I don't give A, error. B and C are optional. They have default values of 5 and 10. So when I run this, all it does is it prints A is blank, B is blank, C is blank. It prints the values of the parameters. Very simple function, but good for this purpose. So if I do this, if I give it test function and I say 3 comma 7, it will print 3, 7, and what? What will it print here? 10, right? Because 10 is the default argument. So if I kind of gave you a hint with the colors, right? But if I don't specify the names of the parameters here, and I just give it 2, and the third one is optional, it will just use them in order. It'll just say 3 goes here, 7 goes here, that's it. And then C is on its own. So test function, if I give it 25 in the first slot, and then I say C equals 24. So I'm specifying C is 24. Then it prints 25. What here? 5, because that's the default, and I didn't specify B. And then C, it prints 24, right? Because I specified 24. Now, in some really rare, really weird instances, and I can't even give you a real world example because, to be honest with you, I've never had to use a function this way. But you can give the arguments in any function in any order you want if you name all of the parameters that you're using and you make sure that any required parameters are given. So for example, on this one, I could say C equals 50 and A equals 100. A is required. I don't have to put it first, but if I don't put it first, I have to name it. Okay? And this is more useful in using other people's functions than using probably your own custom functions, because your own custom functions probably aren't going to take too many parameters. I think the most I've ever used in my own custom function is probably a half a dozen parameters. That I've never written anything that's that complicated. If you're writing something that complicated, you might want to break it up into multiple functions, by the way. But there are functions out there that take a lot of parameters and they're all optional. So you might just end up naming the ones that you want to use. That's a simpler way to do it. So you can use them in any order if you name them all. So obviously here we have 100, 105, and then 50 because we named them. So that's keyword arguments. Just good to remember those rules as you start thinking about using functions and also creating functions.